Hello and welcome to the Tech with Heart show. My name is Michelle Calloway. I'm your host. Tech with Heart is all about enlightening and empowering small business owners to be able to embrace technologies and systems and strategies that will help them stay competitive in a rapidly changing digital environment. Today's topic is around diversity. And diversity is a strategy that we really want small business owners to be more enlightened about so that they can be more empowered on how to navigate some of the conversations and some of the situations that are arising to help them avoid pitfalls, but also, of course, experience an incredible amount of business growth and success from diversity. So what I've done is I've asked a really wonderfully talented young woman. I say young woman. She has been doing this for a while. Her name is Lisa E. Kirkwood, and she is what we know as the True Stories Merchant. She's connecting and transforming people through storytelling. She's a master storyteller, speaker, author, and consultant, and a two-time award winner for the Diversity in Corporate America. She has an international background and offers multiple areas of expertise and is a Heroes Extraordinaire Award winner for cultural diversity. And she has won the Diversity Champion Award from Wells Fargo. So today we're going to talk to small business owners about business empowerment through diversity and inclusion. So help me welcome to the Tech with Heart stage, Lisa E. Kirkwood.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for having me on your show. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here, and I look forward to sharing some tips and insights on diversity to help business owners.
Thank you so much for being here, Lisa. Let's dive right in. Let's talk about some of the common challenges that businesses face regarding cultural diversity and whether it be an employee or customers. Go ahead and share what you want to share here so that we can be enlightened.
All right, thank you. So if you look at facts and even newspaper headings, you will see that we are facing an incredible amount of business loss in dollar amount because of diversity arising issues. Either customers or team members, they have all these grievances that stem from diversity, equity, and inclusion issues, and they take it to the court rather than to the negotiating or discussion table. So I would like to start with that because it's sad that so many businesses are being sued every year and losing money and prestige and revenues because of simple things related to diversity that would otherwise be addressed in a better way, non-litigious, definitely not so costly. I remember not too long ago, I think Starbucks was being sued because they did not properly service a gentleman of color. But diversity is so multifaceted that it can be anything from gender discrimination to skin color to religion to culture to language barrier to anything, you name it. And some people are professional nitpickers. They really actually go after businesses, small, medium, or large, just to see where they can file a lawsuit. Even if they don't take it to court, they can get a settlement. Some people are like that. So how do you protect yourself from such situations? So if you don't have a solid framework on DEI within your organization, being small, be it small, medium, or large, this is something that needs to happen. So you're not faced with that kind of challenging issue that could cost more than it's worth. So that's where I started. A challenge in itself is to expect that everyone shares the same values. They don't. They come from different backgrounds. And when they decide to move forward with the dispute or even further on with a lawsuit, please understand that they don't speak a common language when it comes to corporate culture or business practices. And to that end, speaking of language, is one one of the opportunities for improvement, because think about the Hispanic community in the US. How many millions, tens of millions of people are in the Hispanic community, and yet a number of businesses, probably 51% or more, do not cater to the Hispanic community in their own language. Now, those who actually jumped on this train early on, they could see a significant increase in revenues, and it's a lot easier when people meet you halfway or even on their own terms, because this makes them build brand loyalty, and you, as a business owner, you have a higher retention of your ideal customer. So this is just an example, but one of the many, but this is something to go by as a basic frame. You can come up with any other issue that can come from DEI, but this is something that I would point out right after that.
No, I love the fact that you've mentioned quite a few scenarios actually that I'd like to talk a little bit further about, just to kind of keep it simple for those that are tuning in right now. First and foremost, can you explain what DEI is, just so that everybody's clear when you say DEI, what it means?
Yeah, it's an acronym for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I must say it's a fairly new addition to the corporate vocabulary. Some people just say diversity, some people added inclusion, some people added equity, people add even belonging. It doesn't quite roll off the tongue, belonging, how you're going to abbreviate that. But this is what it stands for: diversity, equity, and inclusion. And if you go with diversity alone, you can go wrong. So whatever it's easier for you, just as long as you address it properly.
Perfect, thank you. DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, or overall belonging. That's wonderful. Now, the other thing I wanted to point out is that she mentioned the idea that if you're not speaking or providing your business in multiple languages, you may be losing out on a tremendous opportunity to perhaps work with some of the Hispanic people in the United States, even if you're a United States company. So I know in the technology world, Google provides some value to small businesses to make it so that some of their services can be translated using a technology called Google Translate. And there's other things that you can perhaps input as a plugin onto your website that would allow for the user to select their language of choice. And it would take the information that's presented on your website and make it translate it for the user into your language. So that's another tech tool that you might want to utilize or look into further for your ability to come across more, inclusive for those that speak a different language. And then also with the conversational AI that has been rolled out as of 2023, we also are able to utilize AI on our websites, not just in one language, but to tell the AI that depending upon what the user that's visiting your website prefers for their language, that it can speak to them, basically take all of the information again that's being presented to the AI via your natural language, then the AI can convert it for you to be able to speak eloquently to those that are tuning in, coming into your website and asking and talking when engaging with the chatbot. So those are some tech tips on how to take your online presence to another level using technology. So anyway, we're going to go back to Lisa right now, and we're going to ask her the next question. She mentioned a lot of common struggles or challenges that small business owners face with diversity, equity, and inclusion. Now we're going to talk about the benefits. Lisa, what are some of the benefits that you've seen by having small business owners embrace DEI in their culture, in their business, in their workforce, and even in their customer base?
Yes, absolutely. First of all, let me do a brief segue into what you mentioned earlier about technology. Not to use technology to address people in a different language that they're more familiar with is a huge loss and miss out on business revenues, if nothing else. Because personally, since I'm not exactly a techie, this is one of my areas of challenge. I've found out about the ChatGPT, for example, just recently, a few months ago, and it made a tremendous difference. Anything that you can utilize as a techie tool to bring you closer to your customer, by all means, get it, because a lot of those tools, and they keep appearing, they are free. It's not going to cost you anything to acquire it. but it's going to bring you a lot of revenue if you implement it. So that's something that I wanted to touch on because it is important.
Being able to do business online is crucial for survival, especially during times of social distancing. So, how do you survive and thrive in the sea of digital noise? It's a lot like fishing. You need to know who your perfect customer is so that you can use the right kind of lure to attract them. We help you catch your perfect customer and retain them for future sales through highly converting websites, influencer mobile apps, getting you featured in the news and on TV. Hi, my name is Jerry Bowden, U.S. Army veteran and president of Revelio Software Solutions. Our goal is to help you rise above the competition, be seen as an expert authority in your industry, and embrace technology to stay competitive for long-term success. It's more affordable than you may think. So reach out to us at revelio.com and together we will make your business come alive.
Now, as far as the advantages and benefits of diversity, if you are to summarize it, and if we talk in acronyms, DEI equals ROI. So diversity, equity, and inclusion equals return on investment, equals revenue, equals business success, money in your pocket, and community impact, last but not least. So why would you not want to go that route? DEI equals ROI. So return on investment, what exactly are we talking about? This is the investment in people because people are the competitive advantage on the market. Statistics show that about 30%, 35%, the diverse teams are about 35% more efficient than those that are monochromes. So when you have just males, when you have just whites, when you have just a certain segment that has no diversity to it, there's of course there's a comfort level of doing things their way all the time, but it's going to hurt them in the long term because not only doesn't bring much innovation, but a lot of people don't feel motivated when you employ foreigners, new people, immigrants. And I was privileged enough to be in a company that was actively seeking foreigners to employ because they noticed that they bring so many set skills on the table that otherwise would not be available. So think about it. Innovation, employee retention, morale boost, and business revenues, aren't these enough reasons to embrace diversity? Of course, sometimes it's just the theory and practice because people, yes, they can recognize business owners, managers, HR professionals, they can recognize, yes, we need that, but how the heck are we going to implement it? You know, that's that's the challenge, and some people do not have a framework on diversity within their organization. So they can reach out. Of course, they can outsource. There are professional skills institutes. They work with coaches and trainers like myself. You know, just feel out there what kind of coach or trainer or a program that you can even tailor for your own organization, but offer them something. And with that said, don't stop at just the basics because this is something I noticed in the corporate world that I come from. Some businesses that are focused enough on diversity, they seem to go just skin deep. So they touch on the gender, definitely on race, because it's such a highly contested topic nowadays. Something on age differences, because you have different generations at the workplace. And something on abilities and disabilities, because we have to integrate. Imagine the workforce today without ADA people. And you know, the community had to fight for the rights because Americans with Disabilities Act, it's only a couple decades old. You know, before that, people with perfectly able to perform all kinds of tasks, they were not allowed in the workforce. Now that changed, thankfully. But other than these four elements, gender, race, ability, and age, corporations tend to stop there. And we're missing out on secondary dimensions of diversity, equity, and inclusion, such as culture, language, and even religion. And this I can understand because religion is such a divisive topic. And I pride myself to bring together different religions and a common ground of understanding because I have a multinational background. So I identified in pretty much all religions of the world the common ground. So I'm like, okay, folks, this is where we start. We don't have to talk differences. Let's talk about commonalities. But when it comes to language and culture, that's where a lot of diversity issues arise. That some of them, which was not a smart decision because they are used to wearing it and they don't like to be forced to not wear it. It's a personal choice. But again, thankfully, we overcame that situation. However, we still have a lot of work to do to go beyond the primary dimensions, age, gender, race, and ability/disability, to address the secondary dimensions. And that's where I come in because I love to explore diversity from multiple facets.
Yeah, you definitely brought in a lot of different scenarios. Again, appreciate that insight. From an ADA perspective, which stands for Americans with Disabilities Act, I know that on the tech side of things, there is a requirement for all businesses that are in business to make sure that their websites are accessible for people who have different disabilities, even the visually impaired. So we have through our Revelio company, we have a free widget that you can install on your website, no matter whether it's a WordPress site or a Wix site or whatever. And you can go to adadefender.us to apply for that. It's free. What it does is it allows those who do have diverse, needs, they can click on that, and then it can make your whole entire website have higher levels of contrast, right? It can allow a reader software to read the website to those who have visual impairments. And so there are things like also you can do to make sure that your website is ready for those tech readers that come in for those that are visually impaired to read a site. And things like make sure that your heading tags, your H1s, H2s, H3s are set up properly on a page so that the technology knows where to start and where to move down and navigate through the website. And then anytime you upload an image, you need to make sure you're using some sort of descriptive alt text on that image, and that will help the readers know through words what it would be able to see if that person were able to see well. And then on top of that, all of those tools that you're doing on the back end for your website to be ADA compliant will magnify, then boost your search engine optimization capabilities, which will end up driving more traffic to your site organically. So those are some techie tips to kind of capitalize on top of some of the benefits that Lisa was just talking about through DEI. And I want to ask Lisa, do you have any idea when it comes to a percentage of businesses that are getting sued over such lacking of keeping it up on top of things regarding accessibility and inclusion online? Because a lot of our audience does business online exclusively.
Honestly, I did not pull up the percentage of the businesses, but as far as the loss in revenue because of these lawsuits annually, this can come up to millions and millions of dollars. And it can touch small businesses as well as large corporations, which are definitely the most vulnerable because people know that they can go after the money, and some people are just of ill intent. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I like to think well of everybody, but some people and their lawyers, they look for just about any excuse to go after someone that they think they do not, that don't meet their requirements or whatever it is. Again, it doesn't have to be a lawsuit. Even the threat of a lawsuit to a larger business would be enough for them to at least want to settle, because nobody wants to do a loss of reputation, loss of charter, loss of business, and loss of revenue. So yeah, it's something that can be easily avoided with proper training and implementation. And sometimes it's just as basic as open communication, dialogue. Keep in mind that people who bring a grievance based on diversity, equity, and inclusion, sometimes they may not be all that versed verbally to express it properly. This is what bothers me. So you have to have an open door open policy and open dialogue so you can identify what that is, because sometimes a simple apology would suffice. Just say, okay, this is the American culture. Think about all the cultures that we're welcoming here. The global village that is the USA, everybody is represented here. Of course, you're going to have cultural differences. And a lot of times it just takes that little step, tell me more about this issue so I can understand it, and then I'll apologize it, and then I'll correct it. It sometimes is as simple as that. So yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, and also, Lisa, if you are unaware on what you need to do to fix the thing that they're having a grievance about, you can also ask, what would you like to see? What would you like us to do to correct this situation for you? That way you're also listening to them giving you ideas on how to go and potentially fix future grievances from coming up. So they really do want to be seen and heard, like they want to be validated that they have serious issues, that your company, when you decide to go into business, you're opening up this idea that, hey, you should be able to serve all. So make sure that you are doing that. And if you have any questions regarding that, or how to go about creating it into your company culture, your onboarding, your onboarding systems, whether it be your team and or your customers' onboarding systems, the more open you can be about that you are striving to be inclusive to all, I think you're going to win. But you might want to consider reaching out to Lisa to ask for a consultation. Lisa, are you open to meeting with some small business owners who have questions regarding this DEI, embracing it into their company culture?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. So you can reach me through my website, www.thetruestoriesmerchant.com. www.thetruestoriesmerchant.com. So I chose that name as a brand because I love storytelling, and I bring diverse stories from all over the world. Again, with an international background, I speak several languages. I'm familiar with multiple cultures, and that's why I tend to identify easily the common ground of understanding between different cultures, different languages, even different religions. I am comfortable with this topic, believe it or not, and I love to bring people together so we can focus on our commonalities instead of our differences.
I love it. Thank you for that information. And I do, again, I really, really recommend you reach out to Lisa. She has come into the Tech with Heart organization with a heart to empower, a heart to enlighten, and help small business owners avoid pitfalls that could potentially ruin their business in this realm of not being inclusive to all, or just how do you navigate the diversity issues that we have going on, whether it be even gender issues. Like there's a lot of this kind of question marks hanging above a lot of people's heads, and she can bring clarity to that. And we may even have a future Tech with Heart interview regarding that. So stay tuned to the Tech with Heart show. And speaking of that, I want to just invite you, if you're a small business owner, to come and join our heart-centered but yet innovative community of entrepreneurs. We gather together once a month for live events where we we don't discover a topic, we cover a topic, and then we allow for an open forum question and answer type situation, almost like a mastermind. And then we break out into networking groups. So we're all about community, we're all about enlightenment and empowerment. You can join us by going to techwithheartnetwork.com. And if you are a expert in your industry and you have very proven that there are certain systems and technologies or strategies that are really, really working in today's digital business landscape, we'd love to hear from you, and we can have you be a guest on the Tech with Heart show. Go to techwithheartnetwork.com and just apply to speak. We'd love to hear from you. Thank you for tuning in today. We hopefully you feel that you are gaining some insights just from some of the things that Lisa did discuss today. We are going to be hosting more events with Lisa to provide more value for small business owners in this arena of DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So stay tuned and check us out at techwithheartnetwork.com. Here's to your success.
Your story needs to be seen and heard, and your brand needs to be revealed. Revealio elevates purpose-driven businesses into the spotlight through video storytelling, augmented reality video marketing, and professional website design. Get discovered online or in the news. Be featured in national magazines or host your own TV, podcast, or live radio show. Together, we make your brand come alive. All it takes is Revealio. Visit Revealio.com to get started today. Minority and service disabled veteran owned.